Welcome aboard, everyone. It is so wonderful to have you back in the galley with me today. If you're new here, pull up a jump seat and get comfortable. I'm Chloe. I've been a flight attendant for over 15 years, crisscrossing this beautiful country and flying to destinations all over the world. I've handed out thousands of warm towels, calmed countless nervous flyers, and stood at that boarding door watching passengers shuffle past me every single day. And because I spend my life in airports, I see things that most travelers miss. I see the confusion at the checkpoints. I see the arguments at the podium. And unfortunately, I see the heartbreak when someone realizes they cannot get on their flight. Today, I need to have a very important conversation with you. This is especially critical for my travelers over 60, my favorite passengers to have on board, because what I'm about to share could mean the difference between making your flight and watching that plane leave without you. There is one mistake, just one single mistake, that is causing seniors to be denied boarding in record numbers. And starting February 2026, the consequences of this mistake are about to get much, much worse. That mistake? Showing up to the airport with the wrong ID. Now, I know what you're thinking. Chloe, I've had my driver's license for 50 years. I've been flying since before the TSA existed. What do you mean, wrong ID? Here's the hard truth. As of May 7th, 2025, your regular driver's license, the one you've used your entire adult life, is no longer accepted at TSA checkpoints unless it has one very specific thing on it, a gold star in the upper corner. That star means your ID is what they call real ID compliant. Without that star, in the eyes of the federal government, your license is basically a library card. I watched this happen just last month in Dallas. A lovely couple in their 70s arrived at the checkpoint. They had their tickets, their bags were perfectly packed, and they were so excited to visit their grandchildren. The gentleman handed his license to the TSA officer, and I saw the officer's face change. No star. The wife's license? Same thing, no star. They stood there, confused and embarrassed, while the line behind them grew longer. They had no idea this requirement existed. They missed their flight. Their vacation was ruined before it even started. Now, here's what makes this even more serious. Right now, if you show up without a real ID, TSA will try to verify your identity through what they call secondary screening. They'll ask you questions, maybe check some databases, and if everything works out, they'll let you through. It takes extra time, it's stressful, but you can usually still fly. That grace period is ending. And I need you to understand something. This isn't just an inconvenience anymore. The rules have fundamentally changed. Starting February 1st, 2026, if you arrive at the checkpoint without a real ID or another acceptable form of identification, TSA will charge you a $45 fee just to attempt to verify your identity through their new Confirm.id system. You'll have to complete an online verification process right there at the airport, answer a series of questions, and hope the system can confirm who you are. And here's the part that really worries me. Even after paying that $45, if the system cannot verify your identity, you will be denied boarding. You paid the fee, you answered the questions, and you still might not get on your flight. That $45 is non-refundable either way. Let me explain why this hits seniors particularly hard and why I'm making this video specifically for you. Getting a real ID requires you to provide a specific set of documents: your birth certificate, proof of your social security number, and 2 documents proving where you live. If your name has changed at any point in your life, you need to prove every single name change with certified documents. For my senior women who have been married, this is where it gets complicated. Let's say your birth certificate shows your maiden name, but your current license shows your married name. You need a certified copy of your marriage certificate to connect those 2 names. Not a photocopy. Not the decorative certificate your officiant signed at your wedding. A certified copy from the county clerk's office with a raised seal or official stamp. And if you've been married more than once, you need a certified marriage certificate for each marriage that resulted in a name change. If you took back your maiden name after a divorce, you need the divorce decree too. Every name change needs a paper trail. I spoke with a retired teacher named Barbara who went through this process. She's been married twice. She needed her birth certificate, her first marriage certificate, her divorce decree, and her second marriage certificate just to prove that she is who she says she is. It took her 3 trips to the DMV and 2 months of tracking down documents from different states. For seniors who have moved multiple times, who may have lost documents over the decades, or who were married in another state or even another country, gathering this paperwork can be genuinely overwhelming. And for my senior travelers with mobility challenges, the DMV visit itself can be exhausting. You cannot get a real ID online or by mail for your first time. You must appear in person. You must bring original documents, not copies. And depending on your state, you might be waiting for hours, even with an appointment. So here's what I want you to do. Right now, go get your driver's license or state ID. Look at the upper right corner. Do you see a gold star or a star inside a circle? If yes, congratulations, you have a real ID. You're ready to fly. If there's no star, or worse, if your card says not for federal purposes or federal limits apply, you have a non-compliant ID. You need to take action before your next flight. Now, let me give you some good news. You don't absolutely need a real ID to fly. There are other forms of identification that TSA accepts. If you have a valid U.S. passport, you're covered. A passport card works too, and it fits right in your wallet. A military ID, a DHS trusted traveler card like Global Entry or Nexus, or even certain enhanced driver's licenses from Washington, Michigan, Minnesota, New York, or Vermont will get you through. But for most of my senior travelers, the Real ID is the most practical solution because you probably already have a driver's license and upgrading it is often the simplest path forward. Here's my step-by-step action plan for you. First, check your current ID today. Look for that star. Second, if you don't have the star, visit your state's DMV website. Every state has a checklist of exactly which documents you need. Print that list out. Third, start gathering your documents now. Birth certificate, social security card, 2 proofs of residency like utility bills or bank statements. If your name has changed, track down those marriage certificates or court orders. Many states allow you to order certified copies of vital records online. Fourth, make a DMV appointment. Many states have special accommodations for seniors or people with disabilities. Some even have mobile units that visit senior centers. Call ahead and ask. Fifth, consider getting a passport or passport card as a backup. Yes, it's an extra expense, around $130 for a passport book or $30 for just the card, but a passport is valid for 10 years and gives you a foolproof form of identification that TSA will always accept. It also opens up international travel options if you ever want to visit family abroad or take that dream cruise. I also want to address a common question I get. What if my Real ID application takes longer than expected and I have a flight coming up? First, never wait until the last minute. The process can take weeks or even months depending on your state and situation. Second, if you're in a bind, remember that a passport is often faster to obtain than a Real ID in some cases. Third, some states issue a temporary document while your Real ID is being processed, but be warned, these temporary papers are often not accepted by TSA. Check with your specific state, and please talk to your family about this. If you have elderly parents, grandparents, or neighbors who travel, make sure they know about this requirement. Offer to help them gather documents or drive them to the DMV. The worst thing that can happen is someone showing up at the airport excited for their trip and being told they cannot board. Let me share one more story that really stuck with me. A gentleman named Harold, 78 years old, was flying to his grandson's wedding. He'd had the same driver's license format for decades. He had no idea about Real ID. When he got to the checkpoint and was told his ID wasn't valid, he broke down in tears right there at the podium. A TSA officer called me over because they didn't know how to help him. I sat with Harold for 20 minutes while he called his family. His grandson, the one getting married, had to leave his own rehearsal dinner to bring Harold's passport to the airport. Harold made his flight, barely, but I'll never forget the look on his face. The confusion, the embarrassment, the fear that he was going to miss one of the most important days of his family's life. I don't want that to happen to you. So here's your homework. Today, check your ID. This week, make a list of documents you need. This month, make that DMV appointment. Give yourself plenty of time before your next trip. I know this feels like a lot of bureaucratic nonsense for something that used to be so simple. But this is the reality of air travel now. The Real ID Act was actually passed back in 2005, but it took 20 years to fully enforce it. The deadline has arrived, and there's no more waiting. The good news is that once you have your real ID, you're set for years. You won't have to worry about it again until it's time to renew. And honestly, isn't there something satisfying about being prepared? About walking up to that checkpoint knowing you have everything you need? That's the feeling I want for you. If you found this information helpful, please hit that subscribe button. I'm dedicated to keeping you safe and informed so you can travel with confidence. And hit that like button if you're going to check your wallet as soon as this video ends. In my next video, I'm going to be talking about the new 2026 carry-on rules and what items TSA is now flagging that they never cared about before. You do not want to miss that one. Thank you so much for trusting me with your travel plans. Please take 10 minutes today to look at your ID and make a plan. Ask your family for help if you need it. Tell them Chloe said it's time to get that star on your license. Travel safe, travel prepared, and I'll see you in the skies. Bye, everyone.